What's the importance of being a gentleman?
Well, there are lots of different answers I can give to this. But the importance of being a gentleman in today's age of lawfare and these attacks that can be sent to destroy your life is, I didn't quite understand this my whole life when I've always treated people with respect and been polite. But 200 and something women who I've been with in one way or another, friends of mine, lovers of mine, ex-girlfriends of mine, have been dragged into police cells and interviewed for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. And the only goal of the interview was to get them to say that in some way they're a victim of mine. Did he ever hit you? Did he ever lock you in a house? Did he ever constrict your movements? And none of them, because they will call me after the interview and say, these idiots are trying to say that I'm a victim of yours. And I told them where to get lost. These are women who I haven't had contact with, sometimes in 6, 7, 8 years. Haven't seen them, haven't heard their name, their messages have never popped up on my phone. And they're sitting there with police officers saying, no, Tristan's a good dude. What the fuck are you doing this for? So if you ever get caught up in something like I'm caught up in, there are videos of celebrities, saying no names, videos of them beating the shit out of women in hotel lobbies. And there's like, oh, well, they can't prosecute this guy because it was too long ago. I'm like, well, that's convenient for him. He's obviously in the club that I'm not in.
Yeah.
But that kind of toxic behavior towards women and people in general will always come back one way or another to bite you. And I've always believed that. Way before I ever would have believed that I'd be arrested and put in jail with all my ex-girlfriends interviewed about me. Way before I ever believed that, I knew that behaving in a derogatory way or an impolite way or a trashy way or a toxic way towards people was just never going to pay off in the long run. I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's cute. I like to treat the women who are in my life with respect and the men, everyone I know. So I'm a gentleman in all aspects because I feel it's very important, because what goes around does eventually come around. So I'm a gentleman in all aspects because I feel it's very important, because what goes around does eventually come around. And I'm now reaping the benefits of the seeds I sowed in the past by just generally not being a horrible person to anyone. I've had girlfriends tell the police, well, he wasn't a very good boyfriend, cheated on me loads of times, but is that a crime? What are you gonna do, put him in jail? Like, yeah, he cheated on me, but, did he ever hit me or treat me bad or, no, he didn't. He was nice.
It's interesting how they can admit all the nice things that have probably been said.
Oh, no, all those hundreds of interviews? Oh, yeah, that's all admitted.
Yeah.
Because the indictment is just the worst stuff they could find to make you look like a criminal. They've been through all my hard drives. All these famous celebrities and these people especially work for the British Broadcasting Corporation, the BBC. Every time their hard drives get analyzed, what's found? Child porn, the worst shit. And I've now been through that extreme level of investigation. And, some of the text messages I've sent, maybe I could have phrased them differently, referring to girls in a joking way as, you're my bitch or you're my slave. This is normal shit that people say to each other, However, when you see it in a police indictment, you're like, oh, for fuck's sake, I don't actually own slaves, guys. This is clearly a joke. But that's the worst stuff they could possibly find on me. And I'm like, well, that's a testament, because I feel like most people, especially my detractors, especially the people who are porn addicts and, all these people who hate on Tristan Tate and Andrew Tate, I'd love to go through their hard drives. I'd love it if federal agencies went through their hard drives and their, internet history and their conversations and see exactly what came up, because they were hoping they'd find something. They knew these two girls were lying. That wasn't the point. The reason they're running with it now is because those two girls' lies is all they've got. They've analyzed me in every single way since and hoped to God they'd find drugs in my house, hoped to God they'd find some illegal, illicit pornography on my phone. Never found, never existed.
Has gaining this sort of status and fame made you realize how many women are disloyal? This is something I spoke with Waller about a little bit. Getting
status and fame, because you can always, and I've noticed this with the things Andrew and I say, you're not doing it, but they're often misconstrued to be somehow a negative statement against women. So every time I'm about to make one, I like to make the point that it's not just women.
Very fair.
Having money, having status, having fame definitely shows you how disloyal people are. So that's an example that I can apply to some women who I've met in my life, and it's an example I can apply to probably more men who I've met in my life. So I think that's just part of the package. But it's very good to go through hard things and to, get sent to jail and to have all these attacks against you, because then you understand and realize who actually has your back, who's standing by your side. And you mentioned Justin Waller. Justin Waller's awesome, man. When he was in America, I got out of jail. He goes, "I'm coming to see you, boys." I say, "You sure? What if they arrest you and stuff?" He goes, "I ain't fucking scared of jail." He's over at my house drinking whiskey with me. He doesn't give a shit, because he's one of those guys who's always got my back. So yeah, it's people are disloyal, men and women, and less disloyal. I'd use the term self-interested. Self-interested more than disloyal, because they're not looking to stab you in the back. They're looking to further whatever agendas they have, whether it be get famous, make money. So it's not that they necessarily want to throw you under the bus. They're just so self-interested that the benefit to them will outweigh any damage it will do to you in their own minds.